You've got questions, we've got answers. Welcome to the Therapist Question Box, where trauma-trained therapists tackle real questions from real people. I'm your host, Lindsay, bringing you grounded insights you can actually use, brought to you by Therapy Utah. Welcome back to another episode of the Therapist Question Box. We are here to answer your mental health questions. It is how this podcast runs, is we hear from you and then I interview people about those mental health questions. So we love to get them. Write in, get on our website at therapyutah.org and write in about those questions and let us know what's on your mind. Today I have with me Mary Lamas. Mary, welcome.
Hello, good to be back.
So happy you're here. Always so fun to have you. And this question is one that I really think is one that a lot of families will recognize. It is just one line, and it is, my husband travels a lot. How do we stay connected?
That's a great question.
It is a great question, especially because you actually are a very good person to be discussing this.
It's funny enough, I really am. Yes,
you are.
Yeah. No, I have my spouse works. He's home about 50% of the time. He works in Los Angeles and travels every week. So yeah, we're very familiar with this.
You know this
problem.
That's right. So when we heard this question, you were the right person to talk about this because you know the struggle well.
Yep.
So when you hear that question, what do you hear underneath that question?
Oh my goodness. I hear and can feel and remember the trepidation and the longing to stay connected and have balance. And it is a struggle. I mean, every couple, we struggle to stay in balance. But when you're away from each other physically half the time or more, because there are plenty of people that work Monday through Friday away from their family, a couple weeks here and there, etc. Since I've been doing the family living situation that we have for 4 years, and I have since heard people tell me, oh, my husband ran our business in Australia for 6 months a year and then would be home for 6 months. So I always think of her because she's lovely and they're a great couple. But it helps, sometimes to have a little bit of perspective on
Does
on
it?
the struggle.
Does it help you? Okay, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Hold on,
right.
6 months and 6 months.
Yeah.
That would be hard.
Yeah, really hard. Yeah.
Well, and I think your point is really well taken, that being a couple is hard when you're together, when you're apart, but being apart adds some complexities to it. So what would you say in your own experience or clients that you've worked with, what have you heard are the added complexities when there is a not full-time living together happening?
Yeah. Well, it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, if I time it right, my Amazon packages always come when he's not home.
So that actually, there are benefits is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Let's not discount the benefits.
I mean, I can, eat in bed sometimes if I want and not hear about it. But
that's right.
Things like that.
Very easy meals. When my husband travels, I'm like, it's breakfast for dinner again. Here we go. Or leftovers again. And everyone's fine. And the truth is he would be fine. But somehow I feel fine. Yeah. Better about it.
You do. Yes. And actually my kids and I have 3 kids, 2 teenagers and then a 10-year-old. And since we've been doing this for 4 years, we have some really fun traditions that we do when Dad's not home. And then we have a lot of traditions that are, of course, together as a family, but then they have different traditions with their dad also that we've had to just kind of tailor and change as he's been doing this work away from home thing.
Mary, that is so cool. We need to talk about that because I think sometimes it's like, oh, they're not here, so we're just gonna kind of muddle along or do what we need to. But like you've actually made it like, we're going to do something fun when he's not here. We're going to do some traditions.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of trial and error in this.
That's all right.
And talking to other people, it was somebody else that said, hey, come up with new traditions and things like that. It's really fun. So, for example, when we remember to have family prayers together, we call him. He's got kind of an intense job. He's a law enforcement officer. So sometimes he can't talk to us, but we'll say family prayers together. Or my 10-year-old calls him, does FaceTime with him before he goes to bed at night, tells him they share about their days, things like that. And then their favorite thing is I have a different obligation every Tuesday night, and most of the time. And so they go to like Discount Tuesday at the movies together because they all really love going to the movies, and I don't love it so much. So
the kids all go
together. They do, yeah. So that's a really fun thing that they do with Dad to get connected. And when we're really on point.
Now this is when he is home. Like they go together.
Yes, sorry. Okay. That's when he is home.
Okay.
So yeah, let me say that. So it's kind of silly. Like I'm not sure that I'm encouraging social media, right? But my oldest son is 17, and he and his dad just share Instagram reels a lot. And just like throughout the day, they're sending each other. And it's just that little bit of connection. Totally. And then my daughter also sends him text messages throughout the day, and will just say things like, hey, this just happened. And every time they have something, or I have something come up that is exciting and celebratory, or the opposite, the first thing we do is say, hey, let's call Dad and share it with him. And that, it can be a struggle. He's not always available when he's out of town, but he knows that he is a very integral part of our lives, and that has been a really important step in that inclusion and keeping that cohesive family togetherness while he's gone.
And here's the thing, that takes effort on your part.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what I'm hearing. Like that is a lot of deliberate effort on your part to call and to remind the kids to be, and maybe now it's a habit and that's just kind of what you do, but that really takes concerted effort. So I love that you were like, no, he's a part of us, whether he's here or whether he's not. Like this is how we do it. And I love that reminder, because I think sometimes we end up in family dynamics that we're like, this is not how I pictured it. This is not what I thought it would be. Holy cow. Yes. But we actually get to say, you know what? And here we are. Yeah. So let's figure out how to make the best of it and make the most of it. And it doesn't mean it's peaches and cream all the time, but it means that we figure out how to do it. So I love to hear that you've done that.
And it is important. That is a big word that I wanted to use. One of those counseling words that we use is intention. Intention is huge. If you're going to have this long distance strain on your family, you really need to be intentional with both your presence and your absence and what you're doing in your presence and your absence. And it is a hard thing. It's been really hard, and I still keep having to course correct on this, that I'm not telling him the kids' news. They're calling him and telling him, I have a 10-year-old. He does not have his own phone. He won't for a while. And so he's using my phone, and maybe I'm trying to cook dinner and the recipes on whatever it is, silly things that come in the way. But it is hard to keep specifically them in touch, because my older two can kind of do it on their own. Right. But it's fun to send pictures, and he'll send some funny pictures. Or if he, runs across a celebrity or something, he sends that. In LA, but it is really important, because sometimes he has to be away for quite a while, a lot of days in a row, and it is hard, and it's really hard on the kids. Yeah. Really? Yes. So you feel like you've noticed it with the kids, especially? Definitely. Okay. Yeah, we've always been a close family. And truth be told, I mean, when we lived in Los Angeles and he worked there, he wasn't home. He has 12-hour plus shifts. So he would usually leave when they're sleeping and come back when they're sleeping when they were little. And so we were a little more prepared than maybe the average family was to have Dad be away for longer periods of time. But there's still just not, he's not making it to the assembly because he can duck out of work for an hour or something like that. He's not making, in fact, he's going to miss my daughter's concert that she's been really preparing for tonight because he has to fly back. So what we do is record it. We send it to him, and then actually they watch it together later. Oh, that's cool. When he has a minute, he calls and goes, okay, let me see. And he gives her feedback right then. He's really good about that. That is one thing I was just going to say too, is he's
he wants to be involved.
Yes.
And he's really engaged.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Huge. Yeah.
And what would you do if he wasn't?
Oh my goodness. Well, Lindsay, let me tell you, my lovely, amazing, intelligent husband, articulate husband, is not a good person to talk to on the phone. Like, he is not a fan of talking on the phone. He's not a super fan of FaceTime. He gets distracted.
So how does that work out when he lives away?
So that was actually something that when we were discussing the possibility of doing this and living this lifestyle, I was really concerned about it. I'm like, I can't have you just go, for,
yeah, it's not going to work.
days
not going to work.
So we actually started practicing and working on it before we started. There were actually a long list of things that we had the benefit of seeing in advance that this was going to be the way that the next few years were going to go. Mm-hmm. And so he wrote down his concerns and I wrote down my concerns, and eventually when the kids were in on it, they did theirs as well. And here comes that word intention again. We were very intentional about what we could fit in and what we couldn't, and what we were going to do about things. And every relationship needs constant communication and maintenance, and there is less time to work with. We don't have those just little moments of, he got home late, but he crawls into bed and gives me a hug and tells me a little, we have a little 5-minute chat about our days and then go to sleep. We don't have those anymore. Mm-hmm. So we have to pull those in as best we can. And it's been a lot of trial and error, a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, and a lot of tools, right? Developed.
I would imagine.
But it's completely doable, and keeping in mind that the most important thing is your family goals. And I know every time I come on here, I talk about values and really finding your values, but I'm going to say it again.
Because it's that important.
Yep. Yeah. Finding your personal values, but also finding your values as a couple and as a family. And those might look different than your individual goals because you have more people in on them. But fun is important to our family, and together
important
time.
To you for sure.
It's
I know
definitely
that.
important to me. I got lucky because that's one of mine.
You and I have that in common for sure. Yes.
But also it's a family value. And so when we're together, it is really hard to have a very different Tuesday than Thursday. And his schedule isn't constant. It's not Monday through Thursday or whatever. It's, 4 days here, 3 days here, whatever. It changes every month. And that's difficult. But if we put a little intention in it, then we can make it happen. I'm not a planner. I'm not a good planner. So we do a lot of board games. We do a lot of, our favorite is, here you go. Here is the best tip I have today for anyone, is to play Extreme Spoons. If you've ever played...
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my goodness. You ever played Spoons, the game? Okay, so it's a really simple game, just one deck of cards and some spoons. And it's like musical chairs with cards. But we have evolved as a family to where we now use plastic clear cutlery, and we section off the yard and we put it in this section of our front yard and scatter them in there. So when somebody gets it's like when the music stops, when somebody gets 4 cards that match, then we all get up and run, and we may shove each other a little bit.
I was just going to say, that sounds violent. With my family, my back could have turned violent. That would turn violent.
But it's really fun. Wow. It's really fun. And we have different rules for stairs and things like that from trial and error. But things like that just make us laugh really hard. Yesterday, my son came home, and he and his girlfriend and my husband and I did some Instagram physical fitness challenge with your spouse, where we were trying to squat with the spouse on our back and push-ups and things like that. I might have just... One of my videos, I'm pretty sure you can hear my knee pop, and I just stop.
Now all the listeners are going to actually want to see that, as do I, because that actually sounds incredible.
I got to say something. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of fun, and making those small moments. We were probably like 10 minutes doing that, but it was so much fun to connect.
I love that, again, it's intention. Like you are being intentional about it and not just saying, it's another Thursday night and we're just going to have a Thursday night. But no, we're going to.
Okay, but that's the beauty of it, is actually, since we have practice with this, like I said, I'm not a planner. I am really bad at like communicating to other people, hey, can we go out on Saturday night? Usually I'm like, oh, hey, it's 5:30. Want to go out at 6? Like, I'm sure you're available, right? But my son and his girlfriend came home and they said, oh, we just saw this funny video. And we spontaneously said, hey, let's do it. That we can beat you. We did, by the way, power couple.
You're like, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, you needed to throw that in. I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it is, I mean, it's just like any other life. You have to fit things in where you can.
Right.
And planning things is fantastic and is the best option for sure. But everybody there had to be intentional in the moment and be intentional about embracing that spontaneity and welcoming that connection rather than, they came in, we were busy doing things, but, inviting that connection in is really important.
So what would you suggest, as you're talking, I keep thinking you must have compliant teenagers because they're willing to go play spoons. Seriously. Because, I'll be honest. I've had teenagers that are like, if I were to give them that idea, they'd be like, yeah, no, thanks.
Yeah, no, they do that too. Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, what do you do if you're now trying to create family values that maybe you haven't had? And you said, I really, maybe it's not that your husband travels or your wife travels, but maybe it's, you know what? We want to have more fun together as a family. And that's something we all value, but we don't really have fun together. We all kind of eat dinner and we go to our own spaces with our phones and we don't really connect.
Yeah.
What are your suggestions on that?
I hear that loud and clear. I have fantastic teenagers. They're still teenagers. They would still rather be doing things with their friends, their significant others, whatever. They are teenagers. They love family time. It's something that we've tried to develop, but really we have to protect it. And we've had to have some big conversations about boundaries between when dad's home, when dad's not home, and that we do kind of protect that time. But here's a great thing. I love the word invitation as a family. So don't get me wrong. I came home from our vacation this summer and was like, that's it. That's our last family vacation. Everybody can go do their own thing next year because we couldn't find anything for all of us to do because they're 17, 14, and 10. And, the 10-year-old wants to go, dig in the sand and play imagination games. And that is not what the older two want to do.
Right.
And the 10-year-old doesn't want to go shopping, which is what the older two want to do. And so, finding things to do together as a family, it is a huge challenge. It really is. So we came to an agreement about the give and take of it. So we have a list of ideas that we've made together that we add to over time. And it's anything that we might want to do. So I brought up the movies. I don't like going to the movies. Sitting for 2 hours, not being able to do 6 things at once is really hard for my ADHD brain. But
I'm with you, Mary. But have you ever considered that a nap is a great $10 investment?
That's it.
Like a movie, excuse me. A movie is the best nap. I go in and I bring my giant coat and I am fully ready to take a nap every time.
Okay, you might have just changed my life.
I'm telling you, Mary.
I'm going to get back to you on this.
It is the greatest $10 you'll ever spend.
Okay.
I get my coat and I have no plan to watch the movie.
Okay.
But I'm there with them and I fall asleep.
Okay.
Because my brain doesn't do well with it either.
No.
And I used to fight falling asleep and now I just think, oh no.
Oh, that's
amazing. I'm here for the nap. And now the seats are such, it's actually really conducive to a great nap. So wear your long puffy coat and make it happen.
I'm feeling this.
So I might have just changed your life, but
thanks,
it's fine.
Thanks, because my Christmas break is coming up, right?
So
with
there
the
you
kids,
go.
and they're going to want to see all the movies. Yeah. So so we do. So I don't want to go to the movies. They do. They might want to see this movie and one of us doesn't, or two of us don't, or whatever, but we agree to do it anyways. So that is strong arming teenagers sometimes. Sometimes you do have to attach that to something that's important to them. Like, hey, I know you really want to go to the dance this weekend, or have a sleepover at your best friend's house, or go to the park, whatever it is that they enjoy doing. if you want to do that, we need to see your buy-in to our family, and we want you there. It's not the same when you're not there, because it's not. And please come spend time with us. You're going to get some sullen teenagers. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to do some funny things. I saw something the other day that I actually might have bought some of these on Amazon to incorporate. It's called Mad Stashes. So it's those awesome fake mustache stickers. And if somebody in your house, maybe some teenager, is feeling particularly upset, everybody has to wear those until it's fun, until it's funny. And I thought that was genius.
Mary, you're so fun. I love that. I'm like, I need more of that. I need some mad stashes,
Instagram,
because that's amazing. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And so, trying to keep things light. And as a parent, man, just letting go of owning their mood is a big deal. And I'm saying that from a place where I struggle with that. I struggle to make sure everybody's having fun, etc. But the trade-off is that they know if I play Extreme Spoons today, then A, I get to go do what I want this weekend, but B, next time we go rock climbing, which is what they want to do. And, we do something different, and we almost always end up having so much fun together when we can kind of let go of our egos. And also sometimes when my husband's home on the weekends and my kids have plans, so we are really, one of our intentions is that we try to have our kids' friends come over to our house, and then sometimes we do Extreme Spoons together, or we we kind of insert ourselves into their hangouts, which they're not a fan of at first,
right?
And then they are,
right?
And then they are, and then they really this magic starts happening where these kids start talking to you and having a good relationship with your whole family and understanding that a little better. And then the 10-year-old can be included in more things, even though it's hard sometimes. Things like that.
I love so many good ideas about what practically it looks like for your family. Thank you for those suggestions. I think one of the ways that it is difficult when someone travels, a partner travels, is that reintegrating back into the family system can be tricky, right? I have heard friends say, it's actually easier when they're gone.
Yeah, it can be.
Because I just have a system, I do things, and then when they come home, it's like I expect them to help or do different things, and then when it doesn't happen, it's frustrating, whereas I know I'm doing it all on my own. How would you suggest that we help keep our partners integrated in the family system, even when they're away?
Yeah, this is the hardest part, I'm going to say, is that you do have to come up with two different routines, and it's not routine because life isn't routine, right? It's two different ways of doing things. And it is really difficult. I actually asked my husband in preparation for the podcast today what he would say. And he came back with keeping in mind the week that or weeks, whatever,
whenever you're back,
that your family has had, and not just yours. Because it's really simple to do that. If I'm home with the kids all week, must be nice to be out working out and, having dinner by yourself and that sort of thing. And we spent a lot of time in that headspace at first, trying to figure that one out. But that's where that constant communication and really valuing each other and appreciating each other, what you go through during the day, what it must feel like. I don't know what it feels like to have to fly every week to Los Angeles and to have quiet that is so loud and loneliness. I don't know what that's like. He doesn't know what it's like to chauffeur 3 kids to 17 practices in a 2-hour period. You know what I mean?
Totally.
By yourself while you make dinner or whatever. You have different lives and different issues. So we try to, that was a lot of communication on what's important, what's not. I used to try really hard to take care of all of the chores while he was gone so that we weren't doing any chores while he was home. And then I started to resent him because I'm doing all the chores, and again, you're working out, must be nice. And he does get to have his fitness routines in Los Angeles that kind of get blown away when he's with the family sometimes. But that is just balancing what's important to each other. And for my husband, it was very, I want to be in on those little things. I don't want you to be just the chore mom, the disciplinarian, those kinds of things, because then they're not viewing me as dad.
Yeah.
And I don't have that connection with them.
Yeah.
And it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So really speak up and be honest about what's important and what you need and what you don't need.
And part of that is getting aware yourself. Like, you know what? I'm feeling disconnected.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel resentful because I'm doing all these chores in an effort. So when he gets home, we can have all this family time. But the truth is, when it's building up inside of you, getting honest about that, like, wait a minute, I need to recalibrate. This is not working, right? Yeah. And, you know, when you said your husband, when you talked to him about the podcast and he said, you know, be aware of what's going on. And I think that same principle applies the other way too. Like, man, he is gone. It's really lonely and quiet. And that probably is a hard integration too. Yes. I mean, I think it's easy to really just go, I got to figure out me. I got to figure out my situation. But if we can look at our partner and say, I wonder what it's been like for them. We actually were given this tool years ago, and it's something I use with my therapy clients now. And it's the saying, what's it like for you? And so my husband and I, when we go on walks in the evening, and he travels a lot as well, he or I will say, what's it like for you? And it's not a time to say, well, I've got this on the calendar and this needs to be done and and so-and-so is doing XYZ. It's actually what's going on for you emotionally. And that, honestly, that phrase has changed us. It really has. It is really basic, but what it does is it requires each of us to slow down and to get curious within ourselves. What is going on for me? What is my emotional experience like? And then asking him the same. Then I get to know what's going on with him. Like it has brought up things in our conversation that I frankly had no idea was going on, nor did he, because you just go through the inertia of the day. Things are happening, life's happening, kids, schedules, all the things. But I think really making sure you're connecting. Yeah. And that was one way that we have done it that has been really valuable, super simple, but really valuable. Is there anything else like that that you feel like has helped you guys connect emotionally?
Yeah. I heard one the other day that that we're going to be instituting. We have kind of a version of it, but it's a little less official. But it's, hey, once a week, the walk. It's so nice to be outside when you're doing that, because it can get really intense and stuffy inside. And, and then you're also thinking about what you're doing next. Okay. So when you're on a walk, you're outside, you're enjoying each other, you're focused on each other. And then saying 3 things from that week that made you feel loved. And that can be that made you feel loved, that went right, that were helpful. And you can set the parameters on that. And then 1 to 2 things that could have gone better from the other person. And those questions, you know, my husband's really good at those questions after, you know, couples counseling.
Right.
And hearing at the bottom of that, we love each other and we care about each other. This is not a criticism. We're not in a bad place because we're offering suggestions. We're constantly evaluating, you know, what we can trim up to make our lives better and our connection deeper. And that is a great thing. Of course we want that. And so, and also when you do like a 3-to-1 kind of a ratio, you don't get stuck in this negativity cycle where people are getting defensive or getting their feelings hurt, things like that. So I highly recommend that. It is really hard to carve out couple time because you feel a little guilty about taking away from family time. At least I do. But it's just that trite thing, right? That you really are just a better person, better partner, better parent when you take some time to fill your cup. So we get really creative about how we do that and what times we do that during the day. That looks different in different times and seasons, but having that connection of what can I do for you, and knowing that your partner's going to take that in and do it back. When you know that somebody is really doing their best to be considerate of you, boy, that brings down your defensiveness. That brings down your woe is me pity party. those kinds of
and
things.
sometimes doing that requires a lot of trust. Like, okay, I'm going to be the one to say, what can I do? I'm going to be the one first to do that. And that can be hard, right? In fact, when you were saying these tools from couples counseling, I thought, you know what? Amen. Couples counseling is so beneficial to get tools to really understand and to really recognize, oh, we've been in a pattern that has not served us. Why are we doing this, right? We just keep going back to it. Or this is the patterns we've seen our parents do. Why are we doing this? It's not helping us anymore. So if you can have somebody that can help you really get clear, like, hey, here's what I see. Here's a tool you can utilize. It can be game changing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Another tool that couples counseling is seriously the epitome of work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's so good. And
in fact, can I just say, I had a text this morning from a friend, and he's a son of one of my good friends, but he's become my friend. And he said, as one of my gifts I was given was some money for couples counseling. Where would you suggest that I go?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, what a brilliant way to spend a gift and to give this new couple a great way to start out. And say, here's money I want you to use it for couples counseling. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
The strongest, happiest couples I know have gone through couples counseling, myself included. Yes.
And myself included as well. And I remember meeting with the therapist and saying, we're good, but I think we could be great. Yeah. And I'm not sure how to get there. And we needed help bridging that gap. Yep. And it made all the difference. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. So then another tool that I would say is really a game changer. It's a pretty basic thing, but it's really powerful, is finding out your and your partner's love language. This is the idea that people feel love in different ways. It really speaks to their heart in different ways. For example, the way that I give and receive love that makes me feel the most loved is service. So if he does the dishes, I'm just like doe-eyed at him, right? It is so lovely. And he could kind of take that or leave it. Like, he appreciates it, but he's a physical touch guy. So if I will sit next to him on the couch, and I don't really think about this kind of stuff on my own.
Because it's not your thing.
No, it's not my love language. But when I started trying to be really present, and I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of people that I'll say, hey, just set an alarm. And it feels fake at first, but set an alarm to remind yourself to do whatever is going to speak to your partner. I had an alarm to remind myself to go give him a hug and just drop everything and go give him a hug, hold his hand, muss his hair, whatever it is. And that speaks to him the same way that acts of service speak to me. And so then both of our cups are full. And those are powerful things when your time is limited with each other. Because if you are a gift giver and that's how you speak love, and your partner has a quality time, and you're out shopping for gifts instead of spending time together, that's the opposite of what you're trying to do. And the messages get totally crossed.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is you said, I didn't really think to do that because that's not how you feel love, right? So I think sometimes we try to love in the way we feel loved, and we forget, wait a minute, that's not at all what my partner feels loved. So set an alarm until it becomes more natural to give love in ways that feels natural to you. Yes. Right? In fact, I told you, is my anniversary this week, 25 years.
Congratulations.
And I was thinking about, okay, what gift, thank you, by the way, what gift should I give and what should I do? And I immediately went to like, ooh, wouldn't a scavenger hunt be fun? And then I had a moment like, no, you love scavenger hunts. He does not love scavenger hunts. Like, that's something I have always thought is so fun, right? And I go right back to that. Like, no, that's your love language. You that's fun and adventurous and different. Like, no, what does he think would be fun? And that's, you literally have to rewire your brain to go, what would they think? Not what do I think, right? So, and when you said, when you're not together often, I thought, even if you don't have a partner that travels, finding time and quality time to be together in the throes of life can be difficult. It doesn't matter. And so really being consistent and diligent and really going, all right, I want to spend time and I want to connect and I'm going to make a concerted effort to do so. I think it doesn't matter what's going on with your partner. That matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you gave us so many good insights. Are there anything that I did not ask you that you're like, okay, I've got to talk about this because it really matters when it comes to this?
Yeah.
topic?
The final tip that I have, and this is couples and families, and we kind of brushed on it a little bit, but that one of those things to do with intention is to schedule some one-on-one time with each of your kids, to be with the partner who is both with the partner who is traveling and the partner who isn't, because it's hard for me to put, take off my mom getting it done hat and put on.
And also, let's be honest, all the hats you wear.
Yeah, right.
I mean, let's be honest, right? So many hats.
Sometimes it's hard to find it in the pile. Yeah.
Right. You're like, okay, this pile is calm down and be present and be connected.
And that's just, and really, it doesn't take very many minutes a day to do that. And boy, that fills their cup and yours. And it just, it puts it into the relationship. So if you can do dates with the parent, that's great. My one son loves to, we drive up and literally just climb around on rocks, like not anything formal, just jump around like mountain goats, right? Or my daughter likes to window shop, those kinds of things, playing games, whatever. Those are really important. Those one-on-one times are really important for kids, especially, to make them feel that they're getting special treatment, that they matter a lot in the whirlwind that's going on. So if you can't do dates, that's understandable. That's fine. It doesn't have to be anything big. You have an evening walk with your husband, and that's a huge deal.
Yep.
And things like that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just take a minute. Go play extreme spoons. Just try not to break anybody's heart.
But have some boundaries around it so we don't have injuries after, right? That's our goal. I'm literally picturing that. Like, that sounds so fun and very dangerous. That's what comes to my mind. So, you know what? As you said that about one-on-one time, I thought, even if it's not a grand gesture, but maybe it's just going up to your child's room and your phone's away and you're entering into their world and asking them about what's going on with them, or just sitting with them and talking with them about something they love. That it doesn't have to be big. It can literally be 5 to 10 minutes that can make a huge difference on you feeling connected with them feeling connected with you. It doesn't need to be a grand gesture. I have experienced that myself, and it is something that can absolutely change the dynamic in the relationship. Yes. There's no question.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it gets those teens on board.
Yes, it does. And that's where you have those negotiations and you say, okay, we're going to do extreme spoons. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Extreme spoons. And then you get to hang out with your friends and we get to, both win. So I love the idea of family values, really getting clear about family values, and then couple values. What matters to him? What matters to you? And really discussing that and being really proactive about that, saying, you know what? And again, if someone listening is saying, you know what? We are not that family. I would say it's never too late. Yeah. Like, we can go back to the drawing board at any time. Yeah. And get honest about that.
We're not this family a lot of the time too.
Right. Yeah. No, families are so messy.
Yep. Course
they
correction.
Are so messy.
All the time.
All the time. And recognize that if this is not what it looks like for you, or your family is not like getting along in the way you want, or it's not feeling like you would like it to, welcome to reality. Yeah. Right? Yes. I mean, it is course correcting all the time.
Yes. And it's enjoying the crazy twisting path you're going on together, instead of thinking that you're going to arrive one day at this perfect family.
Because it is not going to happen. It is full of bumps and turns, and that you're in it together, right? So I love that. I love the idea of letting go of our kids' moods, that's not a reflection on us, but letting go of that. Reminding couples that, again, carving out time, whether it's choosing to do couples therapy, whether it's going on a walk, what it's like for me, but really getting honest and clear about, this time is intentional and we choose to give it to each other. I also love the idea of scheduling one-on-one time with your kids. I've heard, if you want to connect with your kids, guess what? Meet them where they're at. Right? So if your kid loves Minecraft, then you learn to love Minecraft.
It is rough, but it
is rough.
I mean, sometimes.
No kidding.
And you can say, hey, let's play Minecraft for 10 minutes and then have that boundary. And oh man, you just filled that bucket for 10 minutes.
Oh my word. I will play an Xbox game with my son, and I'm telling you, I'm horrible. Horrible. I can't figure out how to use the little handheld. See, I don't even know what it's called. You know, the controllers. And my son's telling me, and he just thinks it's funny and he's laughing. And I'm like, that was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was horrible, but look, he had a great time and we're connected. And like, that is not a big ask. Yeah. It's really not. So I really appreciate the conversation. I really do think whether your partner is traveling or not, this is something that can be beneficial, and just learning to reconnect with the people that matter most in your life, your partner, your children, and really choosing to take the time to be proactive in developing and maintaining and growing those relationships. I think, again, this is a conversation that applies to everybody, right? Whether you have a family of your own or your family of origin, your parents, this can apply. So thank you, Mary, so much for your insights. So valuable and so insightful. And I love that you guys have really been so proactive about it and intentional about this time. And you are an example. 4 years of doing this, you've been doing it well. So congratulations. It's awesome. Well, we hope this was as insightful for you as it was for me. And if this is something that you feel like you can utilize, or someone you love can, please like and subscribe and share it with those you love. And until next time, take care. That's a wrap for today on the Therapist Question Box. I'm Lindsay Schiss. Thanks for listening. And remember, every question you ask is an opportunity to learn and grow. Brought to you by Therapy Utah.
Hey, this is Kathy Kinghorn. I'm an owner at Therapy Utah. If you'd like to book with one of our trauma-trained therapists, go to www.therapyutah.org. Thanks for listening.